Welcome, everybody. We are so delighted to have you with us this day. This is Unpacking the Magic with Bonnie and Michael. What an exciting concept. So I wanted to share with you a little bit about how we unpack the magic. And it started back in August of 2013 when I chose to make Michael Semeka my life coach. And what an experience it has been. My true belief is that if you need assistance in your life, by all means, you go and get it. At the time that I met Michael, my sense was that my life was just not what I had expected. I wasn't excited about it. And then when I started working with Michael, the life came back to me. Then what I have learned through the years is once the crisis, once the problem that you came to that person for is solved, that's when the magic starts to happen, because you don't have something that you have to cure or solve. You get to really explore yourself. You get to explore what makes you tick and what brings the life and the passion out in you. So I'm Bonnie Salomon, and I'd like to introduce Michael Semeka, my life coach, and our dear and precious friend, Lisa Kaufman, who has decided to join us this day. We are so blessed to have her with us because we're going to discuss life's intelligence. Life's intelligence. So, what does that mean to you?
Are you asking me?
I am asking you.
That's a tough question. And my gut response is that everything is the way it's supposed to be. And while there are some things that may be preordained, we still get to decide how we want to go forward. Mm-hmm. And the God of my understanding does have something to do with the intelligent plan. So that's my response.
Thanks, Lisa. And I'm reserving Michael's comments for post whatever you and I discuss, okay, Lisa, because he is maybe not the originator of life's intelligence, but he's got a bead on it.
Absolutely.
Really... I was just going to say, first off, thank you, Bonnie, for doing this. And Lisa, I love you. Thank you for agreeing to be our first guest ever. I love it when I asked Bonnie, so who's our first guest? And she said, Lisa. And this was just the other day. And I was like, well, let's find out if she's available. And you agreed. And I thought it was a great choice. And I'm really, really glad to be doing this. Bonnie, I absolutely love the title, Unpacking the Magic. Is it Unpacking the Magic? Oh, it's beautiful. And I love being your Ed McMahon. I think that is absolutely the greatest. And just so you know, and I look down like this, it's not that I'm being rude, it's that I'm looking at your beautiful faces, because there's Lisa and there's Bonnie. And so, but if you see me look down, I'm just taking you in, because I like looking in your eyes, and I'm over here so that you can see my eyes, because I know what it's like to do a video like this. But life's intelligence, Lisa, you said it, the God of my understanding. I think that is so beautiful. I love that terminology. I think it's wonderful that you give yourself permission to have an intimate relationship with God. I think that's just where it's at, because we're so sovereign and unique, and there's so much to us, all the versions of us, that, our understanding of God changes depending on which version is taking over our essence, our light, our being, our field. And so to me, that is life's intelligence. It's like, but it's not exclusively God, but like consciousness or nature. I think that life's intelligence is all part of sanctification. It's recognizing that there's a wisdom and that we are all unconditionally connected through our unconditional entanglement. And there's wisdom in that, that we're all one. And so, yeah, the fact that you can call it God, but you don't have to, or the God of your understanding, I think that life's intelligence is just almost a tip of the hat to recognize that life is intelligent. And I think that that's really beautiful, and it's a good place to start if you're really a little sanctification deficient.
Beautifully said.
Thank
Wow.
you.
That's
Thank you.
awesome.
I think there's a piece that's really important to understand about life's intelligence and responding to life's intelligence. And that's a certain amount of surrendering, a certain amount of letting life flow. And Michael and I have a standing joke about allowing the allowing, because early on in 2013, when I began working with Michael, he wanted me very much to allow life to have its way with me. I came back the next week and I said, I really worked hard at allowing life to have its way with me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't think that was exactly what he meant. The allowing is to just release, surrender, in a sense, your life. Not that you don't try, not that you don't give your best, not that you don't try to determine a good path for yourself. What I love is to let go and let God, because I do everything I can do in the situation. And then I say, this is it, God, here you go. You know, let's figure this out together.
Well, and there's some piece to letting go of expectations. That is one of the things that Michael and I have been working on. Is the expression that we have is to be revealed, or TBR, which has given me space and permission or framework. It's like a touchstone for me to let life have its way and release the reins a little bit. Also release some of the expectations. I don't know what's going to happen. Just sit with it and let it unfold on its own.
Which takes us back to unconditional welcoming.
Yeah.
Being ready, if you will, for whatever life throws at you.
Right.
And that's not always easy.
Nope.
And can be very challenging, because you may go, ooh, I don't want that. And the ability to look beyond that initial reaction to something deeper, some possibility, some magic, if you will, to come from that. Michael's grinning, so I know he's got something to say.
Well, no, I honestly, this is a real interesting challenge for me, because I want to put out the question of like, so what magic are you packing? But that feels almost forced. So I'm going in between going, do I really want to ask that question? Because can't we just do it like organically? But now, since you saw that I was like having that reaction to the thought, because I found that to be just ridiculously charming and delightful within myself, I am listening to you, but I'm thinking like, wow, so what magic are you packing, Bonnie? Lisa, since you're our guest today, what magic are you packing right now? I mean, like, what's the juice telling you? What's the first thing that wants to come out of your mouth just by hearing that question being presented to you? I'm curious.
For me, I think that it is nature and the world and the physical, this planet, my environment.
Time out. I'm interrupting. Since you're going there, keeper of the sacred grounds, why don't you tell the world about your situation? Like what you happened upon? And if you're going to throw out nature, you might as well go all in and let people know about you, Miss Keeper of the Sacred Grounds.
All right.
Why don't you tell us your story?
Okay. Well, the sacred grounds called out to me, and I had made a decision planted the seeds, if you will, to manifest my own home and to settle down, have some roots for myself. And post-divorce, I was in limbo. I wasn't sure where I wanted to be. I wasn't sure if bringing somebody in, I was already prepared to compromise. And not that that was wrong or there was anything about that that wasn't a good idea, but then I was not stepping into what I wanted, which is some old childhood stuff anyway. So I came to this place in working with Michael where I really was thinking about what do I want? And I found that I wanted my own home. I wanted to purchase one. I didn't want to rent anymore. I didn't want to be in limbo. And so our dear friend, Susie Sheena, who is a real estate agent extraordinaire, but also with magical powers of her own, I asked her to please represent me, and she offered to show me some homes. And this is during the height of the 2020 pandemic. We started looking late April, early May. So the pandemic shutdown had really just happened. There were not a lot of houses out there. And I thought to myself, there are opportunities in this, and I don't want to miss this one because I'm fearful. So I'm just going to step into this. And we looked at a total of 4 houses, which I don't know, I guess I have bought a lot of houses. 4 doesn't seem like a lot to me. I don't know. When I saw the house that I'm in, I saw it online on Zillow. Hey, Zillow, shout out to you. I was like, ooh, there is something, like I could feel it from the photographs. And I was like, I need to see this in person and see if it feels like it looks like it feels. So I sent it to her. She said, we already have an appointment for tomorrow. So we showed up. I walked in. You could see through the double French doors that there was a tree coming up through the deck. Felt like a tree house. And I was like, oh my God, this place feels amazing. And every room I went into and just the grounds, the whole thing just was, everything was better than the next thing. It was so exciting to discover what the house had to offer. And at one point I thought, there's no way I can afford this. And yeah, I could afford it. And a number popped into my head. I said, all right, this is the number. And I said, I conferred with her as the expert. Is this a reasonable thing? And she's like, yeah, that's your number. That's your number. At the end of the day, things really did go very smoothly, considering house buying is a challenge. Things just fell into place. And I was like, there was an ease to it that I was like, yeah, this is how it's supposed to be. Instead of me paddling against the stream and forcing things to happen, I allowed them to happen, but I was in the right place at the right time, doing the things. I was responding to the call. I was letting the magic happen. There were a few snafus, and in the spirit of TBR, although now it is what has been revealed, WBR, when stuff would come up and I would go, oh crap, this could be a game changer. Maybe I can't, the fear creeps in and you start judging yourself and the system and what's happening. And no, I don't know. Maybe there is a greater good to this. Just see how it pans out, which really helps me calm myself down. So in short order, it turns out that the appraisal came in under, which is not a good thing. And we had room to renegotiate. The bottom line is the number that popped into my head the first day that I saw the house ended up being the number I paid, like to the dime, which I think is quite magical. The house itself, it's in an older area. There is a lake here. It's on a hill. It's wooded. There's nature all over the place. Last year, I had the tremendous gift of becoming friends with a fawn, a newborn deer. that was hanging out in the yard, and he and I got friendly, and he would let me feed him and pet him. And it was such a gift. And he's out doing whatever teenage deer do this year. I haven't seen him. He has a tear in his ear, which is how I know it's him. And when it first happened, when I saw him, I was like, oh no, this is bad, blah, blah, blah. Then I was like, nope, he's going to be fine. It's going to heal. And now I know who he is. So
Nubbins.
it's just an example of letting it unfold for me and quit trying to formulate the answer too quickly.
Beautiful. Really beautiful, Lisa. And
Thank
having
you.
experienced your beautiful magical home, indeed, you have created a magical place.
Thank you.
People love being there and love being with you.
Thank you. I love to hear that. And that is a great deal of the intention. It's a very elemental house. I've got the wind chimes, there's a breeze, there's definitely earth, there's water, there's a fire pit. Just all of the things that I wanted to express my spirituality came with the house.
The
And
grounds.
It's been such a gift.
The grounds are so amazing. I mean, you feel
Really are.
you walk out of the car and you're walking to go into her front door, and the grounds just accosts you. Just you feel it. You absolutely, before you even get to knock at the door.
It's lovely.
And the lake and the deck and the fact that the house is so high, it's unbelievable. And then you walk in and the architecture and the windows very high up, and it's unbelievable. And I'm thinking like, whoa, you are called. The grounds have been waiting for you to be the keeper of the sacred grounds. And she's done a great job. She's done a great job as far as what she's put out in the field, how she's decorated it. It's absolutely amazing. So
taking care of the grounds, and they've been neglected, and there's still a lot of ivy, but I've pulled the ivy off the trees. I've pulled the ivy down the hill that goes into the lake, so it's not going in the lake anymore. I've cleaned it up. And it's so funny because I know I told both of you this, that as I was doing that, I would find interesting things, and I just started referring to them as gifts from the house. I found an interesting seashell that I was like, what is this doing in Georgia? It's almost chanterelle season.
I was just going to go there.
Mushrooms will be coming up. I've been enjoying learning more about mushrooms and what are edible. And there's actually quite a bit of edible mushrooms in the yard because there's so many trees. It's the coolest thing. There's one day I went out and thought to myself, oh crap, I should have been wearing my glasses. And the next thing I know, I look down and there's an old pair of glasses sitting there. And I'm like, you guys are really funny. The grounds there's something symbiotic going on here, and I'm just happy to be a part of it.
So that's God for me. I'm sorry, for you. What I was thinking about, you said life's intelligence and everything. The God of your understanding, and then nature. I was like, man, if they only knew that you are like Mother Nature of these grounds. You are the keeper of these grounds, and even of the house. She's done some amazing renovations, and she's updating. I mean, everything is like, in her world, in that property, which includes the house and the grounds. And it's absolutely magical. And she'll come to me one time and she'll tell me stuff that she finds in her yard. I'm like, what? This is Roswell, It's really cool. I mean, it's absolutely magical. So that was a little unpacking the magic. There you go, Bonnie.
Thank you.
So I want to unpack a little more magic as relates to Lisa. I've known Lisa for several years, and she has a totally different ambiance about her than she's ever had in the years I've known her. So the magic has come from her allowing life to have its way with her, and life having given her these gifts, so that you see the magic in her face, in her smile. It's a very different Lisa than the Lisa I met 5 years ago. I think that it's important to look beyond the magic that's right here to see the magic that's beyond what we're visually able to see, and that we can feel it. It's something that is innate in us when we meet the magic. See, I get goosebumps just
I just did too. I'm sitting here thinking it's a sparkle. There's just something, but you feel it energetically.
Yeah.
When it's happening. It's one of the gifts that I've had from both of you in retraining me, is my listening skills, my tuning in skills have improved. So when you're like this, the magic doesn't come to you. It doesn't come that close. You can't see it. You can't feel it. You have to be open to it. And then you have to learn to listen for it and let it come to you. If you don't do that, it's not that it's not there. It's not that it's not coming. Communication takes two parties. There's the sender and the receiver. So the magic is always sending. If you are not open to receiving, you will not get it. Doesn't mean it's not there, but then you can't work with it and swim in it and do all of the things that make magic so magical. So now I'm in this place where, and I've wanted this for my life for a very, very long, since I was a child. And everyone else said, no, it doesn't exist and you don't, and stop, thinking like that. And now I'm in this place where I don't care what anybody else thinks. And something comes to me and I honor it. I sanctify it. And then it's one of my truths.
So while we're in this mode, I would be remiss as a host if I did not ask about the magic of things that we don't necessarily want in our lives. Because along with the beautiful magic and the excitement and the goosebumps and all of that, life's intelligence is going to give us other gifts, if you will, that we may not want to sanctify, not want to bless, not want to accept into our lives. So I'm curious as to comments from both of you about holding that as magic as well.
And it is. Michael, I'm going to quote you. Don't look at it as something that is happening to you. It is something that's happening for you. And that paradigm shift has been very helpful, because then I do start to expand my thought process as ways to relinquish that control and allow things to be revealed to me, but also to look for, what can I be learning from this? I think that's a mentality I've had for my entire life. But this shift has made it more positive and allowed for more magic. I'll give an example. So this past weekend, I was going to run up to the store, and actually I bought new tires and one of them already didn't have air in it. So I was already freaking out, and I needed to go put air in the tires up at the grocery store. And the car wouldn't start. So I'm cursing all kinds of whatever. And I called AAA, and then I just sat there, done, they're coming out, took a couple hours, they brought a new battery, yada, yada, yada. I had to sit here for a minute and think, okay, better that you're at home in the comfort of your home with air conditioning and food and water and bathrooms. And I could have been on some country road for 2 hours in the sun with nothing. So I was at home. How beautiful is that? And someone came to my home to fix my car. How beautiful is that? And I already paid for this service thinking proactively. And I'm grateful that I could afford that. So I had all of these things that really are gifts. And then the speed bump in my life was fixed, and then, the car works. And you got to do that. The car needs new batteries. It's like a body, like anything else. It needs to be cared for and repaired and fed and all of the other things that everything on this planet runs with. Those core tenets belong to everything, whether it's mechanical or organic or whatever. We have to put things into it. Anyway, point being, I could have been angry and frustrated and depressed and, all of the why me, that victim mentality, which I don't choose to do that. And had to set aside a moment to think about all of the good things. What were the silver linings? And it's not just being Pollyanna with rose-colored glasses. It really is having a gratitude, even with a frustrating situation. And that's the point, is to find what part of this thing that I don't want can I be grateful for? And there is always something. COVID, oh my God, many gifts of COVID. We don't need to talk about the obvious, why it's horrible. We know why. What are the gifts? I got to spend a whole lot of time with myself and realize that I'm fabulous company for myself and a great cook, and that I'm worth doing all of that for. Okay, that's a good thing. And now I'm more discerning about who do I want to spend time with. I don't spend time doing things that I don't want to do anymore. There's no need for that. There really is no need for that. So I'm learning more things every day, but I just have a new point of view since this process for 5 years. And between the both of you, it's been really life-changing for me. So I'm grateful for both of you.
Thank you, Lisa. And for you, I know that from my perspective, having watched you blossom and grow and have a zest for life that you've never had before, according to what you say, it's so enriching, it's so heartwarming. And I wish everyone could immerse themselves into the things that we've learned together, that we've learned from Michael, because it allows us to open to the magic. Michael, you look like you might be ready to have something to say, darling.
Well, I love you both. How's that? Let's say the obvious. Let's just put that out there already, I know it's obvious, but it sure feels good to get it out. So the other thing that I think is really big is that Lisa, in her sharing, did a commercial for Zillow and a commercial for Susie. So I thought it would be nice for people to know what she does for a living, because honestly, you want to talk about like really unpacking the magic. She really is magical because she does all this stuff. I mean, and I'll let her explain it, but I'm not kidding, which is just, Bonnie, you can even speak to this and how much she's helped you. I mean, this is going to be nice, and really wasn't my intention, but she was so generous in giving a shout out to Susie and a shout out to Zillow, that I think that, Lisa, you should give a little shout out to yourself, because somebody who's watching this is going to need your services. And that's the unpacking of the magic, and that they're going to get your care, or their loved ones are going to get your care. So explain a little bit about what you do.
Okay.
A little bit of all that you do. So I want you to cover,
Okay.
all of it, and then a contact info to reach you.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Thank you. I am an aging life care manager. I started my company 21 years ago. What we do is work privately for families who are caring for an aging loved one, or somebody who's could be an adult with disabilities. There are pediatric care managers, but that is not my focus. I really, really enjoy dealing with the aging population. I tell people it's a little like a hybrid between a hospital social worker and a daughter for hire. We are a hub of communication. It's been described as quarterbacking your medical team. as an air traffic controller for what's going on for your care. Just somebody who knows that's happening and making sure everybody's being held accountable in a lot of ways, but also that the coordination is happening as it should. Very strong patient advocacy. I anticipate when there's going to be a service failure, knowing where the common problems are and try to mitigate that before it even happens. And I think I do a really good job at it, if I may say so.
And she knows a lot. She knows so much. She has so much knowledge of systems and what needs to be done and working the system, which would give me a head explosion to know 2% of what she knows and how to get things done. So she's like a bridge and a go-between with this spirit that you see. And so things are getting done. They're getting done legally. They're getting done properly, following procedures that I don't want to know all that you know. God bless you for knowing it all. And thank you for insulating me from needing to be responsible to know everything that you know and do. So she is an advocate that's packing. I mean, she is a lethal advocate.
One of the greatest compliments I ever had was a mentor of mine. Oh gosh, I'm going to say maybe 10, 15 years ago. And he said, best way I can describe you, Lisa, as steel and velvet. And I was like, and he said, it's a real soft covering to something extremely strong. That, it's a combination of both. You have that compassion and that warmth, but you are very strong. And I was like, all right, I'll take it. So I still think of that as one of the most unique, but most wonderful compliments I ever received about how I work and what I do, that I'm steel and velvet. And I'm like, all right.
Well, I can attest to Lisa's abilities,
Please.
her kindness, compassion, and how much she helped my family with just, it wasn't just what she knew, it was who she knew and how she knew them. And the doors just truly magically opened when I heard Lisa. So can't say enough wonderful things about you, because you have it all in terms of who you are as a person, as a professional, as a friend, as a sister. You got it. You absolutely have it.
Thank you, Bob.
And I know that even though we didn't meet through Michael, we met through Michael because of another person, Lisa Vieira. And that's another part of this magic, is that when you surround yourself with the most amazing people that you can find, it opens doors you never imagined would just fling open.
Absolutely.
And you step into stardust. I mean, there's no other way to explain it. You step into a realm that most people only can imagine.
It's a magical realm, Bonnie.
It really is.
It's stardust. I was thinking like worlds of unicorns. And it is, it's unpacking the magic. And you allow the magic to be seen and embraced, and you recognize that it's there. And don't forget the contact information, Lisa. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I'm at www.seniorcareopt.com. One side note is that I'm also a certified end-of-life doula. That is a calling, and I feel very strongly about that. It's a calling. I don't use that term lightly at all. That is a place where I feel of great use to people who are struggling, really struggling with how to leave this planet, and families who are just terrified about and sad. And all of the complex emotions that go with a tremendous loss as it's coming right at you. And I just want to stand strongly and hold that space for people. So if you're not sure what end of life doula is, feel free to give me a shout, shoot me an email.
Say it again, because the audio went in and out when you said it the first time.
An end of life doula.
And the contact information?
Is it's the same as my care management practice, www.seniorcareopt.com. But thank you for that.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Wow, what an exciting time. I mean, I hope that those of you who are listening can feel the energy, the excitement, the positivity, and the magic that we've been unpacking for you in this time of unpacking the magic. Michael, anything you would like to say?
Can I drop an F-bomb?
Always.
I really can? All right, I won't drop the F-bomb because I got one yes and one silence. You're Bonnie, you're an effing awesome host. How's that? You're an effing awesome host.
There you go.
You did a great job. And I love being Ed McMahon. There's an archetype that I can really revel in.
Well, I hope we didn't quiet you more than you wanted to be quieted.
I loved it. I loved it. I think it suits me nicely.
It's part of your divine masculine.
Your mouth at God's ears, the God of your understanding, of course.
That's right.
Lisa, thank you so much for being willing to step up, be our first guest.
I'm honored, very honored, and very excited. I'm happy for both of you. This is juicy stuff.
Yeah, you have brought the magic to life today.
Thank you.
And we hope to have something special for our audience every week. And we will be having more guests, more interesting topics, more ways to make your life more exciting, to give you the energy to want to get up in the morning and see what life has to offer you today.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. I like the idea of TBRing the unpacking of the magic. And I think that
there you go.
Yeah, because we are going to unpack a lot more magic. And Lisa,
Absolutely.
thank you for how well you shared. I do think that you help people dial up on unpacking the magic. I think it's a great title, a great theme, a great objective. I think that there's so much untapped magic out there, and you're a beautiful incarnation of that. So thank you for sharing so generously.
Thank you. Thank you for asking me. This really is. It's an honor.
So I have an invitation.
Love you both.
Thank you, Lisa. I have an invitation for our listeners. Go out today and see if you can find a sample of life's intelligence. Be well, be strong, be weak when you need to be, and know that lots of love is coming your way.
Oh.
Oh. Much
Thank you.
love.
Thank you. Bye.